Hello, and welcome back to Pathologic Classic. On the last time, on the last part, we had gotten emergency powers and have officially set up the quarantine for any infected areas that may or may not pop up. And today, once again, our mission remains obscure. We don't know. Well, we'll get notes to see what to do now, but the immortal man is dead, and we're stuck here, tending to a plague. So, day 3 hasn't technically started, because 8 a.m. has not passed over quite yet. So I want to go over some mistakes I made yesterday. I actually have some notes up. Let me scroll them down so I can see them at the bottom of the window. Right. So yesterday I kind of screwed up while doing the House of the Living quest. I did complete it successfully, but when I went to Victor, I was being a bit too antsy with my meta knowledge. I was actually supposed to meet Maria, then go to Victor. I also messed up in that what I said about needing proof to get more money, that only applies to Maria and Victor, not Yulia or the other. So, that's worth noting. And a detail I didn't divulge yesterday, I actually found out while going through the day again, just kind of looking for details, that you could actually use the House of the Living quest to substitute the main quest, in that when Sabirov asks for proof of the plague, you can actually lead him to the house in the knots. Well, not lead him, but point it out. And that will also count as proof of the plague, granting emergency powers. For now, I think it's a good time to get into the meat of day 8. Day 8? That's very far off. Day 3. So, Lara said that we can stay at her house, and since her house is more in the middle of the map, the knots, that sounds like a good idea. Plus, she might even make us a breakfast in the morning. Bless her soul. Oops. So, no, that wasn't my fault, now that I think about it. I thought the guy was aiming at me with his knife, but instead he aimed at the woman, sniped her, and then threw a second knife from his pocket at me. Bandits are quite silly. Anyways, gonna drop into this drugstore to sell a little bit. Neomycinium is now in store. That's, well, it's gonna be handy. It's an antibiotic, meaning that if you get infected, it lowers your infection. Quite simple. Thank you, sir. So now we're sitting pretty at 15,000 step shekels. That was a bit of a stretch to say, but I'm rolling with it. And on to the next day. 46 got infected, 35 died, 13 missing, total death toll 105, in which the Bachelor is offered to hunt the elusive enemy and evaluate the chances of necrosis.
Clemency is born not of virtue, but rather of fear.
It's nice of you to come. Are you tired? Hungry? Quite. You've heard already that all the provisions have been destroyed, right? They say it was the infected meat that caused the disease, so now there's no food at all. Only the food we've managed to snatch before it all began. So I have nothing to offer save for some bread and milk. Milk and bread are not that bad. And she hands us a bit of food. Now, as you see, I am currently starving, so, that's nice. Make sure to drop by a food store before anything else. Though we should check our notes. We do not know what today's quest is, as to be expected. A worrying message from Georgi Kane. Please visit me at the Crucible at your earliest convenience. Another misfortune has befallen us, and again it concerns the person whom you have traveled so far to see. I hope the woes of our family are of still some importance to you. And the person in danger today is Peter Stomaton. Understood. So I take it Simon Kane or Isidore. Either way, that is highly concerning. I'll take that bottle. So what's the food store have for us today? Yeah, as you can see here, the stocks are less plentiful than they were before. Dried fish, bread, egg. Yeah, I'll just, take everything. I could use it all. There we go. That'll last us for a bit. At least the day. Oh yeah, you can just kind of zoop up walls like that. Casual. Speedrun strats. Although, while we're heading to Gardgaze, you don't really do much in the stone yard. There's not much to see around here. If you're coming here, you're probably here to see Gardgay, or just the Canes in general. So whenever you can, so whenever you are directed over here, it's good to, just go through all the bins ahead of time. I'd also like to show this off before it slips my mind. Clothes stores. I tend not to bother with clothing until later in the game, but... Oh, he's just selling a bunch of kerosene. Never mind. What I was meaning to show off there is that the clothes sellers also sell, some random goods and trade items. In specific, they can give away pins. Well, not give away. You can buy pins off of them. And essentially, that can buy you a bullet from a child. So, essentially buying ammunition with extra steps. Or even, painkillers, if you wish. Judge.
I have a heartache.
My dear doctor, misfortune is a regular guest in our family home. A new calamity has befallen us. Well, what is it? The house in which Reuben lived and worked has been tainted by infectious mold and fallen prey by the looters. Our messengers searched every nook and cranny. Neither Reuben nor Simon's body are in the house. Some of the people that helped to undertake the search are paying a terrible price. They've contracted the sand pest. How would you explain the absence of the body? It appears that once the infection began to spread across the house, Master Reuben decided to remove the body. He must have taken it to some hidden location that he considered safe. However, since we haven't heard from him, we can only infer that Reuben is dead. The body was stolen, perhaps? True. Someone could have stolen the body to force our family into offering ransom for its return. In this case, Reuben's silence and absence might mean that he is in pursuit of the thieves. Is there anything I can do for you? Please help us recover the body, Doctor. We are already much indebted to you for having identified Simon's killer. It's not your fault that the truth has turned out to be so distressing to us all. I implore you to help Simon, and us, once more, find my brother's body. Alright, I'll help you. So now Simon's body is missing, and so is Reuben. Stellar. Victor's impersonal deal with the impractical side of things. Now help us find the body. Lovely.
Is this disease indeed as deadly as they say?
Every hour brings us more trouble. I'm looking for your brother's body, Victor. Do you have any ideas on the subject? I do. If I were you, Oglimsky's son would be the first person I'd turn to. Young Vlad, nicknamed Charon. Reuben and he had some business together. He knows places where Reuben may have taken the body. Have you already asked him? I've tried, but we are in a difficult position now. On the one hand, we are putting pressure on his father. On the other, we're asking him for a favor. Putting pressure? I was under the impression yesterday that we had managed to put an end to all disputes between the ruling families. There can never be an end to disputes between our families. It's as impossible as reuniting day with night. But now I feel that Big Vlad's actions have a bearing on the root of all of our troubles. I don't like the silence from the termitary. Could it be there that the infamous murderer is hiding? The thought has crossed my mind too. The termitary riot coincided suspiciously with Isidore's return from the steppe and the outbreak of the epidemic. A stranger has made their way into the town. Human or Shabnak, it doesn't matter. We can't establish whether their involvement in Simon's death was direct or indirect, but the involvement is clearly there. Well, why is that? It has been revealed to Maria in a dream that the cause of Simon's death is hiding at the termitary. I intend to find out why Big Vlad refuses so adamantly to open it. You should ask Vlad the Younger if you get the chance. Alright, I'll try to ask Vlad the Younger. Vlad the Younger is a loyal son. He may be cynical, but deep inside he believes in the precepts of vassal ethics. He has no reason to conceal a crime, but he'd never help us knowing that we're acting against his father's best interests. Notwithstanding our respect for each other. I respect such adherence to principles too. Victor believes Vlad the Younger could provide me with some clues. He did business with Reuben, so perhaps he may know where Stock could have taken the body.
I feel as though my blood is getting thicker. An omen, is it not?
Do you know anything regarding Reuben's whereabouts? Sadly, no. The disappearance of Master Reuben fills me with sincerest regret. He is, of course, the person most to blame for the loss of our brother's remains. But that's not what matters. And what is? We have no competent people left except you. We're unable to put up a struggle. Is it true, from what I've been told, that you declined Sabrov's request and did not accept responsibility for the town's future? Told you such nonsense. Not only did I agree, I explicitly stated my eagerness to do all that is within my power. You're a noble man, Bachelor Dankovsky, so we do still have a hope. I'm acting in accordance with my beliefs. So, Big Flawed. Flawed may know where Reuben is. And of course Simon's body. I can only hope. Although I will admit, it is quite strange that all of these incidents are occurring all coincided. Termitary, the plague, Simon becoming infected, and then Isidore being murdered by something. Such a short amount of time and so much tragedy. Sometimes the world does work in coincidence and contrivance. The only thing you can do is investigate, find what is contrived and what does have meaning. Unless you're the philosophical sort, then you can get meaning from most anything. The power of the human mind and its ability to form patterns is truly remarkable. I could also just be getting really pretentious right now, and maybe I should just shut up and go to small Vlad. If I wanted to, I could also steal more food because, again, there's no consequence to it. But it feels wrong. I was just showing it off the other day because, you know, I want to make this playthrough something of a guide. Hello.
I am crushed by these walls.
Reuben's disappeared. His home has been infected and looted. Neither his body nor Simon's was there. Where could he have gone? I don't know. I haven't seen him. Do you suspect that Reuben is dead? Why should I suspect that? If Reuben were alive, he would undoubtedly make his whereabouts known. And he certainly wouldn't keep quiet about the pest getting inside the town. He's one of the few who have an actual understanding of what that entails. Is that what you think? Well, if neither Reuben nor Simon were in the dead house, that means Reuben has at least attempted to move the Keeper's body to another place. Otherwise, we would have to surmise that someone has stolen 2 infected bodies with particularly obscure purposes, wouldn't you agree? So, what is that other place? There are several locations where Reuben could have taken the corpse, but I have no plans to reveal them to you until you do our family a favor in return. Gladly, unless it takes up too much of my time. I want to settle the disputes between us and the Canes concerning our unwillingness to let emissaries into the Termitary. I don't know what the Canes are thinking, but we are not harboring anything, or anyone there, that could be of even remote interest to them. Especially to my deeply esteemed fellow Victor. So why don't you let the inspectors in? First of all, it's dangerous. The rabble is rioting. I've told you about that more than once already. Secondly, Father will not submit to the younger Cain's orders. If this keeps up, we'll soon be taking orders from his 10-year-old son. I'm not doing this on the Cain's orders, but at their request. They act on my authority, not theirs. Sounds elaborate. Very well then. I'll give you one more reason to keep the termitary closed for as long as possible. Frankly speaking, it's you who should have prohibited us from letting anyone in there, even yourself. It's your direct duty. You mean quarantining the place? Exactly. Fortunately, we locked the termitary off a day before the Sander came to our town. Should the Canes insist, I have an argument that will easily convince both them and you. You require proof of the veracity of my words, don't you? I'm listening. The Canes are hiding something too. They have their own skeleton in the closet, and it's even more unsightly than ours. Our closet is full of our own workers. Theirs is full of other people's children. If you can make sure that everything is well inside the Polyhedron, then trust me, the termitary is fine too. It's an enclave, a closed chamber. So you believe that quarantine will be effective in keeping infection out of that giant bunkhouse? Certainly. Did you not say yourself, at least that's how it was relayed to me, that walls are a solid defense? Besides, think of what will happen if 10,000 people pour into the streets in search of food and gossip. Try to imagine the picture. Sounds convincing. I'll inspect the Polyhedron and talk to Victor, but I'll ask a favor of you in return. Help me find Simon's body. Try to curb the righteous anger of the judge and the terrible Victor. They seem to have finally decided to harass my father to death. I have no doubt that no matter what he did, it's not his fault. If you do that, I will gladly assist you. Deal. So, now we're stuck in between these two families' petty squabbles. When I just want to find a person's body and prevent plague. However, not all is lost. I'm able to inspect if the Polyhedron has traces of plague, and if his words have truth to it, we can prevent the termitary from becoming infected. Good enough for me, but I don't like having this information stonewalled. Nonetheless, we'll see if we can reach a compromise. So, Polyhedron. We've been hearing about this thing for a while, and I've alluded to it once or twice. The thing in the fog. Now we get our first up-close and personal interaction with it. First off, the edgy kid. Is everything alright with you, you little rapscallion? A neighbor of ours has been killed by patrolmen. I still can't wrap my head around it. That means they can make away with me just as easily. And with you, too. What did they kill him for? Well, say he attacked someone, too. He'd have quite the temper, but they beat him to death with their mega fists. But by the way, was there really an order to do that? For reals? How do we fight now? How do we defend our honor? You people should stay indoors to protect yourself from the epidemiological biohazard. Not biohazard, just hazard. Not go around fighting. What? I said stay in. See, people aren't taking it to heart that they should be staying indoors. Also, a lot of the NPCs wandering around the Stoneyard don't have things to say from this point onwards. Just on a blue moon. And again, the young girl I pointed out on the first day, she just never says anything. So this is the Polyhedron up close. It's like a fucking wasp's nest. And even the base pad is alien. Having like a flower motif. And so, we will climb this completely unsupported floating structure. Seem to be scrawled with stone and blueprints. All with its jagged corners and... Yeah, what the fuck is going on with this place? Either way, though, we're climbing awfully high up this thing. Looking down on the steps below. Honestly, the Polyhedron is one of the most impressive things in this game because this fucking huge explorable structure, this is from a 2005 game. It's really cool. Oh, hey there, doghead. You can't go inside, or else the tower will topple. Do you think this is funny? Okay, bye. Oh, fucking hell. I guess I'm not supposed to go in the Polyhedron right now? Let me check my quest log. Oh, the body of an immortal is a other task. Huh. Well. Let me check my other notes. Yeah, I don't know what the main story here is then. Well, I'm not supposed to climb here. I guess I have to go back and talk to Victor. It's ill-advised to try and jump around here, but since I need to save some time, I'll take the hit. But that was a very, very big hit, and now that I think about it, that wasn't worth it. Fucking weird thing.
Is this disease indeed as deadly as they say?
I come bearing news from the old Gimpskis. It has to do with the termitary. Most curious, what is it? Vlad the Younger asked me to tell you the following. The termitary had been closed before the Polyhedron was, and there were many witnesses to that. Really? What is he getting at? He has no reason to believe that the situation inside the termitary is different than that from inside the tower. Ingenious. Damn it. Alright, so be it. If that's how he's spinning it, then I'm forced to leave him alone. For now. You can tell him that. It will only last until we find proof that not everything is in order inside the termitary. Perhaps... oh. Perhaps... I'm not sure about this one, honestly. Huh. Letting adults into the Polyhedron. No, I don't trust them with it. I hope there's no doubt in your mind that I am obviously only doing this all to get the Olimskis to reveal the location of Simon's body to me. I haven't been wasting my time either in the meantime. The information my couriers have brought back is terrible. There's a Ripper in town. Fragments of human bodies have been found. It's either a stranger who doesn't observe our traditions, or it really is someone or something sent by the steppe. Well, who is the stranger? Earlier I feared that Big Vlad was sheltering him at the termitary. It's clear now that that isn't the case. He is on the loose. I think he is the thief. Also, I believe he's very much the man who's been accused of patricide, the cursed, wayward son of Visidar Barak. And what makes you think it's him? I haven't made up my mind yet. I just have my suspicions. The end times are upon us if sons have ceased to honor their fathers. They are turning the earth towards the void. Toppling what their parents built is what these wayward children are best at. They never create anything in its place. I feel like you're talking about your own son. My son has now founded a kingdom of his own. There it is, towering above our sinful earth. He wouldn't let anyone into that world, not even his own father. If you're interested to know what's going on in there, give it a try. Maria thinks you're the man for whom nothing is impossible. I, too, have long been interested in what's going on in that place. Let me check my quest log. Oh, now I can head into the Polyhedron. Yeah, it was a bit antsy to get up there, I suppose. But there was another step involved. I am going to quick save in case this wastes my time, though. I do want to get around to things today, and I know that we have a tight schedule this day. Wasting time is not advised. Anyways, I suppose Victor sent his word up to his son. Perhaps now the doghead will let us in. And back up the incredibly precarious tower we go. I would like to remind you that apparently kids are climbing up this thing. Climbing up these narrow staircases so high above the world. Thank Christ none of them actually falls off. Because, by the way, if you just decide to walk off the edge, yeah, you saw me walk off the staircase. That can happen anywhere here. You can just fall off to your death, if you want. In fact, there's an achievement on the 12th day where you can do it, and the game just mocks you for dying on the last day. Hello again. You can't go inside, or else the tower will topple. I'm a friend of the Khans. I've come to see Khan. Or Kanes. I've met... Damn it. You're in luck, then. Khan has left the faucets to mourn his grandfather. Come in, but don't try to get inside. You really don't want us to all perish, do you? I really don't. Oh.
Why are they acting so girlishly?
Hello, Khan. Adults are not allowed in here. It can topple the tower. I won't be staying for long. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to? My name is Casper. I am son to Victor and Nina, the youngest of the Kanes. Now you name yourself. Bachelor Dankovsky. Are you a friend of our family? I am.
It's only too easy to fall into pieces.
You wanted to speak with me. I am listening. I am the one who's listening, boy. Tell me about this structure. It's a mystery. You won't be able to fathom it. Do you see these walls? Yeah, I do. I thought so. We children do not see them. There on the left is the coast of the New Sea. Behind you are the Cleft Islands. Behind my left shoulder, the knot of the 5 footpaths. The faucet a little way to the left from it is actually the collapsed bridge from the Legend of the Ever Reborn. I see now. It's a poetic allegory. You're all dreamers in here. What are the walls you see made of, guest? Looks like paper to me. Strange. Very strange. The average thick-headed grown-up sees mirrored surfaces. It's the reason they're calling this the Specular Tower. Each person only sees an infinite series of their own reflections. That was the design. Are there really 1,000 children in here? Yes, but they're all on the other side of the facets. I can't see them, but they see you clearly. If Facets are a reliable barrier. Against what? You. Your doppelgangers. Everyone who comes from across the river. I don't have any doppelgangers. You do. 2 of them. Also endeavoring to save humanity. At least that's what they say. Every word they utter mirrors yours. And so far, they've caused nothing but harm. What kind of harm? Our salvation lies in repose and silence. Our town must stay now. Freeze, like someone who's stirred up a nest of venomous snakes. Then the disease will abate and burn up in its own flames. I was told these were your words, weren't they? More like my thoughts, really.
What else should one do if he's filled with rags?
It's nothing too astonishing. This tower has been standing here for more than a decade. Nothing astonishes me anymore.
It will.
The place looks like it was made out of pen and paper. At least from my vision. The outer walls seem to be vague blueprints. Other people see mirrors, and these children see a vast fantasy. They say there's thousands of children, but I saw no entrance nor exit in there. I can only imagine where they disappear off to. If it's not all lies and prose, then perhaps there's some truth in that. But of course, it could also be lies and prose. We'll see. Precarious hop. So, who do we go to next? The child speaks like a grown man. His manner leaves an impression. Could it be that Olgimsky is right? The Termite is protected from any external influence as diligently as this tower is. I can exclude both buildings from my inquiry for now. I don't know, that kind of seems like a false equation. Let me say this. The Polyhedron is floating. It's also well guarded, and it doesn't seem like the kids move in and out of it. The Termitary is well guarded, but grounded. I can easily see a plague crawling into the doors of the Termitary, than this floating structure that apparently bends so many laws that I can't even see where these children have gone. Nonetheless, I suppose I'll talk to Victor, then I'll head back to Vlad.
Who is it walking upstairs?
Yes. Nope. I have to return to Vlad the Younger to find, Simon's body, I suppose. Which, by the way, is just a sub-quest. This isn't even the main. I don't know what the main is, honestly. Sure, someone will write me up, however. In the meantime, this is what we shall do. Walking in the rain in my sweet leather outfit. In the freezing September rains. Actually, I heard that the peanuts are, yeah, lowest tier, so I should probably be happy I can get a bullet for them from this kid. What's with the open mouth, kid? You're drawing flies. Is it true that you can raise people from the dead in the capital? Well, who told you such nonsense? My dad! He read about you in the papers. I just wanted to make it so that people would live longer, really. And preferably on their own accord. Sounds cool. So they wouldn't be able to die in someone else's accord then, right? That would be too cool to be true. It's funny, so many of the adults speak in riddles, yet the kids kind of have some occasional out-of-place dialogue, like the teenagers talking about a mega punch. They're still cryptic, but they still have a little bit of childhood beaming out of them. Although, to be fair, the children seem very grown up. I mean, they are
Is the disease really
running around
contagious?
peddling bullets. I managed to settle the matter. Victor will no longer insist on inspecting the termitary. I'll keep my word. Honoring the venerable Simon's remains is our mutual goal. Yeah, I'm sure it is. We are bound by the same grief. There's a ripper, perhaps even more than one, on the loose in the knots. I think they're runaway butchers. Runaway butchers? Or those few who were unlucky enough to find themselves outside when the termitary was blocked off. Now they're hiding in the town. I believe they're stealing the dead to use their bodies for divination. They have their own future-telling techniques. Well, where could they be hiding? To be honest, I'm not sure myself. One curious young man managed to trace their path. Seems they've been carrying the dead to the spleen district. I'll mark the house on your map. If they resist, am I allowed to kill them? Not only kill, but take whatever possessions of theirs you may find in that house. Body snatchers are no longer protected by the law, even if they happen to be butchers. Very well. This is possibly where the stolen bodies are taken by the Ripper. Or Rippers. Butchers. I had better be ready for anything. So I shall. Sounds like a precarious group. If there's two of them, then I absolutely need to gun them down. That's assuming they resist at all. If I can talk it out with words, I always will. Because that's the easy way to get out of conflicts. And the one that usually works. I always run speech builds, okay? If there's anything Fallout New Vegas taught me, it's that everything can be resolved with words and that nothing has nuance. No shade on New Vegas, though. Game's fantastic. Speech is just a little bit overblown. Lockpick, nah. You're so pale. I'm dying for a gulp of milk. They won't let us milk the cows. Do you by any chance have some? Who doesn't let you milk cows? Well, people say that the cows have been oozing some ichor instead of milk lately. Auntie said she knows this for sure. Mom nodded and added that Aiga, the cook, agrees, and she's a stepwoman and all. She knows everything about cows. Aiga went as far as to say that the milk turned completely black. Ugh. She's right. Doesn't sound like you should drink such milk. I'll check on your cows or assign this task to someone. That is a grotesque and grisly report there. I also got a golden ring, which is more step bucks. Yeah, the food descriptions also mirror these strange occurrences. I think it's the milk we have to check out. Fresh fish as well. The dried fish told us that all the fish are dying in mass. And other food descriptions say even more ominous and bizarre things about what's going on in this town's agriculture. It's almost as if all this was destined. This town shouldn't exist. Like a force from above is saying, no, you cannot have food. Or anything good, for that matter. But hey, at least the town is pretty in how depressing it is. And look at these fall trees. Amongst the gray, hazy, dreamlike, sad backdrop. Fresh meat's pretty good. Bread. And I'll take some smoked meat. I'll sell this. They have a lot of razors and they sell for a good amount. I'll throw some in. I want to stay on top of having 1,000 rubles. There. There. Speaking of which, I forgot to ask him about it, but we should get a plague map soon. Well, not soon, because we're already so far away from him. Time is important. But, so is plague maps. It'll keep you in the loop. Well, what's the news around town? Alright, I already talked to you. Tell me about the Spleen District, by the way. 'Tis in the Knots, which would be the middle part of the town of Men. The spleen flanks the station from the northwest, stretching along the tributary, and the tributary is called the Guzzle. All of them spleens and guzzling are quite intricate, ain't they? That's fine, I'm good at anatomy. I'm a trained specialist, after all. It's exactly what we're hoping for. So, what's up with Simon? Say he's not entirely dead? That'd be logical. We're alive, so our father also must be. I haven't examined him yet. So I think that the spleen is this area. I know that this is the gut, and these are the warehouses. This is the chine. This is the backbone, and this is the flank. Not too sure on that one. But I feel like we should stop by Capella today.
What?
Would you like me to reveal the secret of a miraculous remedy for the sand plague? It's dangerous, mind you. I'm all ears, Victoria. Have you ever seen antique boxes with chalky or bluish powder inside? It is already fossilized in some of them. Have you already heard of the powders? Dubbed schmouters, sometimes? Tell me. I am eager to hear the story from someone as honest and reasonable as you appear to be. The powders are secret remedies that some people have been keeping since the first outbreak. Before it all started, one boy, his name was Crowfoot, he died later, inspired the children to play Epidemic. They're making these powders. So? Some children stole various drugs for their game. They chose the prettiest ones, of course. Then they crushed the pills in a mortar, mixed them, and wrapped the mixtures in some fresh leaves of a fragrant steppe swevery for safekeeping. Are you implying this mishmash can help with the sand plague? Not always. Every child had a personal recipe. No one knows which particular drugs were used. Each mixture was different. The most efficient ones were made by Beaker, Flanky, and Catchfly. Crowfoot's powders were also respected because they were the prettiest. Where are these powders now? All over the place. Some are stored in caches in the house where the children used to play infirmary. The powders were lethally dangerous, you see. If anyone was to take that much drugs, it would have damaged their health horribly. But the children begged to differ. They always do. They helped me once, so what if they do so again? Is the line of reasoning. I think I can see where they're coming from. I would have done the same in all honesty. I'm burning with curiosity and greed. Some of them undoubtedly help. They poison the body, true, but they also poison the sander out. I have no idea how it works. Perhaps there are some antibiotics in the mixture. Others are indeed lethal, and every single one of them is extremely detrimental to your health. I have no doubt about that. The thing is, the kids were recently reminded of one of the caches. They've pried it open, and now they cannot wait to test the acquired powders in an infected district. Loafer, Beaker's younger brother, has already gone to do the testing, the fool. Where exactly? To the Silent House, I believe. This is where the infection began to spread from in the first place, and besides, it's connected to this terrible man-eater story. Children are always attracted to horror stories. All in all, I think you can stop them. If you ban the game, they'll listen to you. You're a celebrity doctor after all. So I have a whole cache of these powders stocked there, huh? Fine, I'll find the kid. So, we got another side quest. Found somewhere close to the Silent House. If we remember, the Silent House is both the initial infection in the Tanner's district and also, Isidore Barak's old home. So, even more is happening over there. Fucking accursed place, I swear. Before we head into the Tanners, however, let's deal with these butchers. Assuming that isn't mere rumor. Always could be. Or perhaps I don't trust people enough. So it's up there. Always good to stock up bandages. If you're really stocked up on bandages and don't mind wasting some, selling them on days where the prices are inflated is a good way to make some money. Otherwise, you should keep them. I think we'll have to skimp out a bit on food. Or, well... Nah. And I have received a message. What is it? Sorry, there's a lot of bindings. Reuben's letter! We need to plan the battle in advance. The battle being the task that lies ahead of us. I will not give up without a fight, even if everyone else has come to terms with their own mortality. We need to join our forces, Bachelor, and combine our diverse skills. Our enemy is inevitable, ubiquitous, dissolved into the very thing that we'll need to purify. The enemy seems invulnerable, but it is not imperceptible. And by whatever terror it instills in us, it is explained simply by our lack of knowledge. If we are to destroy the enemy, we need to study it first. For this, we need to capture it. It's our first and foremost priority. Please forgive my reiteration of self-evident things like these. My only reason for spelling it all out is to better understand it myself. Our goals are not quite the same. I strive to save as many lives as possible, whereas your purpose is to put an end to the outbreak. I've been told of your abiding desire to uncover the truth. I would gladly help you with all that, if you would help me achieve my goal. Together we can eradicate the disease and save everything that might still be saved. Stock Reuben. P.S. You might find me at my secret prosectorium at the warehouse district. The map is on the reverse of this letter. Thank you. I will say, Reuben's goals align decently well with mine too. Ending the outbreak is of course first and foremost, but I want to save lives too. I mean, it's just kind of a byproduct of what we're doing here anyways, so why not expand upon it? Just ignore all the people I mercilessly maim every night for claws. You know, it makes the babies laugh when I kill them, so clearly it's a thing I should be doing. Oh, this music's unsettling. Here, flies. Oh, hello, men. Hey. What's up? Oh shit. They're angry. Huh. Well, the butchers immediately decide to attack me, and there's some very European-looking men. Oh, hey, a knife. In particular, they remind me of... They look more Asian than, Russian. That's what I was wanting to choke out. And... there is indeed a corpse here. Is this Simon? Ugh. Grisly. Well... I suppose we have our answer. We killed 2 men and found a corpse. What the corpse is here for, and who it is, well, I can only hope that it is Simon. Also, the flower is a trading item, but it's, very rare and very weak. It only goes for 1 with, like, 2 traders, so it's not worth carrying around, honestly. How's this singing in the background? It's actually a cool effect, but it's unnerving. Let's get out of this hell. I'll grab some water. Now let's go check out the silent house while we're in the area. Although... encroaching on the Skinners, I feel like we're gonna be hearing that song again. Let's head up this way. There's bins up there. Let me check OBS, just in case, there's any recording errors. Nope, I'm being picked up just fine. Lovely. Pin. Oh, that's not comfortable. A big scarecrow has been erected, and... oh, there's blood in the... The infected areas are strictly off limits. Keep out. I've been granted emergency powers. You must have been informed by the governor. I'm Bachelor Dankovsky. Yes, sir, we were, sir. I apologize. Better safe than sorry. Come through, but keep in mind, sir, they're all crazed, mad and insane in there. Possessed. If they attack you, go ahead and run anywhere, but do not kill them. We'll have to intervene and beat you to an inch of your life, for they are innocent and in pain. Jesus, Bachelor, don't say that. So they are going to attack me, but not you? How in the world does that work? Well, you as Doc. We patrol people have nothing to offer them but a good old blow to the head. We won't let them we won't let them out. They tried to escape, there's no denying that. They did. We taught them a lesson, though, and we're protected too, thanks to you. Protected? Yes, sir, they distributed them pills among us. Told us 'twas on your orders. Told us they're very much good remedy to invigorate the body, but bad for the heart. Also, they make it so that your blood doesn't curdle no more, but rather fills them veins, making them bursty and thus shabby. Am I saying that right? You seem to be describing a cardiovascular disease, in which case you are correct, yes? Oh, fucking hell. There's scabs on the streets. Now's a good time to use our plague detector. which will show us where little pockets of outbreak exist. Hey girl, you should probably, oh I don't know, not be here. This place, oh. Yeah, so the plague takes the form of a bunch of screaming faces. And there's a few kinds of plague. You might have seen this back during day 2. In the House of the Living, a cloud of faces attacked me. I didn't mention it, but that's why I left the house without looting. I'll buy a pin real quick. The music's all warped, there's sounds of flesh and bones snapping. The infection is grotesque. Anyways, we need to look around, Isidore's home for a kid, I guess. Oh, there you are, Tot. Ouch. Loafer? Uh-huh, that's me. How do you know me? What are you doing here? Nothing. I meant well. I won't do it again. Are you testing a schmouder? Tell me the truth. No, I mean, yes. I am a brave boy, aren't I? Let me check if you have a fever. Are you sick yet? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. I've been waiting all this time to fall sick so I could do the test. Nothing so far. Bad luck. Bad luck? Are you completely mental? I've been told that this place where this, you know, sort of tongue comes out of the ground. A tongue made of dirty lumps, like made of thick air. You're standing in that exact spot, sir. Give me the box, I'll test it myself. Oh, actually, you seem to be right. I do have a fever. Let me take the schmouder, will you? Run back to your So, there's a choice here. I can either tell him to go away and I get the powders, or I could ban the tests and possibly save some kids' lives. Well, let's try this. Alright, I suppose I'm in no position to argue, but you will confirm what really happened here, right? If anyone asks. Give me the box already, will you? I don't like the prospect of you poisoning yourself. Oh, fucking hell. So now I have been infected with the sand pest. However, I have a Boxley's Miracle Cures. So what am I gonna do? Well, obviously, I'm going to loot infected houses until I need to use it. Oh, Lord, what happened here? It's all grody and disgusting. Looks as though a twister went through here. Not the panic of a plague. Ugh. Anyways, in here, there are some very strong things to loot. But you're also being mercilessly hunted by the plague itself. I only recommend doing this if you're desperate, or if you have a way to circumvent it. Like, for now, I have a miracle cure on me. With some bandages, I can get out of here relatively scot-free. However, to prolong my existence here, I need to dodge around the plague if possible, which isn't going well for me. Ugh. There's also dying people in here. For a boost of karma, you can ease their pain, because if Sticky's account is to be trusted, dying to this plague is like drinking boiling water, which means that they are in agonizing and excruciating pain. And I am just doing terribly here. You can also loot them because they don't need money anymore. Unfortunately, they aren't going to last. Anyways, that looting spree was just awful. That was a bad house. I'll do one more and then I'll drop the powders. Oh yeah, there's ammo in here. Ammo, lemons, It's a mixed bag, but you get essentially trading items and other rare resources. So there is an incentive to do this, but as you can see, becoming infected with this abominable plague that's just ripping through the town, there's a very solid drawback as well. Along with these places just being horrifying. Like, none of this is comfortable. Anyways, I'm gonna go through my fucking lemons. Whoops, that fucked up my hunger. That was a bit rash. But I do have immunity now, which will provide me a little bit of a shield to the next few assaults. I'm gonna stand up on this bread to try and jank around it. Yeah, that's kind of the name of the game here. You try and weave around the plague cloud. It's not that easy because you can't really see what you're bumping into, and some objects have kind of weird collision, but oh fucking hell. But it's possible, and that's how you keep yourself alive. Kind of vaguely alive. One more house, and then I'm done with this. Plus, I'm probably not gonna have the health to use schmouters, because it will also burn a hole in my fucking heart. Lemon. Bullets and kerosene. Yeah, this seems hopeless. Fuck. Yeah, I'm done with this. We need to use the powders now. Okay, so we're cured, but our health is now extremely low. I'm gonna use this thing so I can navigate myself out of this district. We do not want to be here any longer than we need to be. And if things couldn't get any worse, there's now pained people shambling the streets. There's nothing we can do for them. We can ease the suffering of those who are lying on the ground, but... What are you doing? Get out of here! And here there's nothing. We're out of the plague. Ugh. Fucking disgusting places. Genuinely, the plague areas are really some of the most interesting content this game has. They're scary, they're unique. Overall, they're a fascinating effect. Anyways, I'm going to sell off... No, actually, I'm gonna keep my ammo. Rifle ammo will come in use a lot later. And of course, the pistol rounds are just always good. At least for my playstyle. I would have sold shotgun shells, however. We can't really easily get a shotgun on this playthrough. Anyways, I guess we can report to Capella that this excursion was a success. I wish I could have kept the box of schmouters, but I'm not willing to get infected, not this early on into the game. I'm also going to try and roll with the low health for now. I think we'll get the most value out of buying a painkiller and then using that tonight. But yeah, that's your introduction to plagued areas. Creepy places. Fortunately, we're just being smothered in bandages. Yeah, Medradorm will work. It'll do. I also had a hell of a lot of tourniquets on him. Not sure why that is, but nobody is complaining. Did you want to ask me something? Yeah, have you tested our schmouters? I have. And? Have you figured out what they're made of? Outdated drugs that are no longer produced. Let me try and get more dialogue out of that. Schmau... what? I remember us playing schmouters. We used to invent various recipes, taking various amounts of various medicines and mixing them. It was like a competition. Whose recipe would turn out to be the most efficient? And well, some of them were. Any chance I could get my hands on them? Our boys shuffled through several caches. Hopefully I haven't slipped my Bew's mind. And he'll bring me one, just in case. Where's one find these old caches? At the Dovecote or the Mild Dew? Why do you ask? It's not like there's anything left there, except maybe several dead schmouters, the ones that kill instantly. Show me anyways, what's deadly to a 5-year-old can become the salvation of an adult. And she shows you nothing. Which is unfortunate, but random NPC dialogues tend not to lead you anywhere. It's just used for fleshing out the world. And also it can take you to things indirectly. Hearsay often has some kind of benefit. You can investigate it, or not. Anyways, let us return to Capella. Although, now that we're looking into the schmouters, I do want to start searching these girls. Which sounds weird out of context, but on very rare occasions, these teensies actually carry around powders. And I think they're the only NPC that does. So, if I can parse my nuts, again, wording, if I can parse my nuts for miracle cures, that would just be stellar. And I'm very willing to make that trade with anything.
There's a peculiar smell on the outside. What is this?
I have found the boy. Is everything alright with him? He's not sick, is he? He's not. He was lucky. I'll find the caches as soon as possible and retrieve the poison. Thank you. You seem to be planning to test them out yourself. Or am I mistaken? I already have. Apparently the one I got was efficient. Next time you will be so lucky. We will see. And that's that. The schmouters are extremely detrimental to one's health, but they do eradicate the infection. Is this mere coincidence, or did the children compound a cure? We will never find out. So that's our introduction that these miracle cures, they actually work. Perhaps not all the time, but there are genuine cures out here. They're just incredibly elusive, the children are tight-lipped about them, and yeah. They aren't going to be easy to procure, but they are around. We should be keeping our eyes on them at all costs. And we should we stop by Vlad the Younger? Let me check, what do we need to do for the immortal man? Or the body of the immortal? Oh, we're gonna have to return it to Victor or George. So instead, I'm going to drop by and see Ruben. Just Medradorm. Yeah, we need to be more proactive with our trading now. We did get a bunch of pins from the infected houses, which are greatly appreciated. This is the place.
What is this disease?
Dear colleague, be some happy coincidence, I managed to get my hands on a certain vessel that I believe I can recover the pathogen with. Which means we are now all set to research the vaccine. But odd as it may sound, I'd rather avoid tapping into that source I mentioned, unless I absolutely have to. I'd rather examine the samples that can be procured from the dead tissue. Wait a moment. How can we possibly produce a vaccine with what scarce equipment we have? It won't be a vaccine per se, but rather a solution that might temporarily bolster the immune system. True, I don't have much in the way of equipment, but I have plenty of reagents, herbal tinctures, Twirin infusions, by and large. The least we can expect is to keep ourselves reasonably safe until a better equipment team arrives. Where are we going to get the dead tissue from? I was going to ask you to bring a sample or two from one of the infected quarters, but doubly careful though, and make sure to get the discretion... Bleh, let me reread that again. But doubly careful though, and make sure to get the dissection fully cleared with one of the rulers, else the risk would be twice as high as it needs to be. I'd go myself, but there are reasons that make it impossible for me to leave Simon's body unattended. That's some request. What is this additional danger you speak of? Dissection of dead bodies is something that the locals strongly disapprove of. For steppe people, the body represents the world. Only a member of a special taglur, Burak to name one, is allowed to open it up. It's a caste-based privilege, you see. Does everyone in the town share the same prejudice? No, of course not. But even those who are oblivious of the sacred meaning of the kin's rituals would still oppose unsanctioned dissection, because it's traditionally inappropriate, a cultural taboo, if you will. An autopsy performed by anyone other than a true-born Menku is seen as blasphemy of the worst kind. Even incest is not as repulsive to them. What are the Menku? Translated loosely as men who set apart the parts of a whole. The Menku are the adepts of the kin, butchers, surgeons, and prophets. Any occupation that has to do with knowing the separate parts that comprise a whole. Sounds like a philosophy to me. Fine, but I am definitely not a Menku, so what am I supposed to do? Do pay a visit to Governor Saburov. I wouldn't go to Big Vlad if I were you. He's too resourceful, and too inclined to drag you into his schemes. Boy, do I know from earlier. The Canes are also out of the question, as anything that leads to Gjordgate to me would likely result in Simon's body being removed. I still have a lot of work to do. Sounds reasonable. I'll see you soon. First step is appropriately idiotic. I need to inform the governor of my plans. He has to give me official permission to perform post-mortem autopsy on the victims of the disease. Ah, that's just stellar, honestly. Although, if Isidore is a Menku, why not allow him to cut open the body, instead of being weird with it ourselves? Sure, he is the butcher, and sure, he may be suspect, but if he can carry on that line of work, he would be much invaluable. Especially since we won't get two ruling families in our ass. While we're doing this, though, there's two sets of characters that I want to meet today. Just to show up more options we have in the town. Not all the spending we have to do has to be in these little shops so clearly marked with... so clearly marked with signs. There are some underground establishments that have been open since day one. And one of them lives right up here. We had a chance to meet one of the brothers of our bound on day 2, but we declined the quest. Let's meet him today. That's just this little club. This guy will sell you jewelry, Twirin, and coffee. Coffee is a special item that really decreases your tiredness at the cost of a slight bit of health, which is outright meta tier of just being really good. I'm gonna sell some kerosene to make up for the amount because I don't even use the lamp all that much. It's one of the step girls dancing on stage.
Why do you all come here to gawk at me? Oh, I would have let my fists loose if not for these pins.
And here's Andre Stamadin. I see the dust of my beloved capital on this man's feet. Ta-da! I bet you must have met me. Wait a second. The uni? Were it you juggling knives on the table? Ha! You remember the time where we got the better of those bastards, eh? And you sat there all quiet, but when the tables went down, you grabbed the shooter. Yeah, I remember. Very brave of you. Those were the days. And look at me now. Those were the days indeed. Denkovsky, in case you've forgotten. And you are? Andre Stamadin, sentenced to death in 4 countries at your service. Rejoice and sing, those of you who are not looking for me to die. I'd sing, but a single voice, even if it's singing, doesn't change much. I am luckier than you. I have a beloved brother. You guys must be quite attached to each other. Twins are the 2 sides of a single person. Each of them pulls in their own direction. Each sees their own side of things. I hope to see you 2 side by side one day.
There's nothing to talk about.
Hats off to the fine guest. Do get intoxicated with us, you prisoner of science. Listen, why does any attempt to examine a dead body lead to so many complications around here? A hole in any body is a very intimate thing. Even your natural orifices are better off closed or covered. Cover your mouth when you yawn, else the soul may fly out. Cower in the corner when you defecate. Cover yourself with sheets in darkness when you copulate. It's the orifices rather than the people that make the process taboo. What are you driving at? And the unnatural holes. Don't get me started. Who can tell if the body wants to be opened? How is it meant to be cut? A carcass only welcomes the touch of a master. The cut of a master follows the line that liberates the body from self. Haven't you ever, how did you put it, created unnatural holes in bodies? You seem to have mastered the art of knifing. The issue, my good Daniel, is that I've mastered the art of penciling even better. The pen is mightier than the sword. Everybody knows that. Save your salt for someone else's wound. If only it were a man. It's just a theory, though. Let us drink to bold endeavors, Bachelor. Let us fucking open up everything that's supposed to lie under wraps. No need to restrict ourselves. We may as well be hanged for a sheep as for a lamb. Thank you. I'd rather take a bottle to drink off the premises. And he gives us a single thing of Twirin.
The plague is on our doorstep. So, it has come to this.
We can ask him a lot about characters, but I think the only one that I'm curious about is Grace. Grace, the corpse lover's daughter. What is there to tell? The daughter of the caretaker of the cemetery. He used to drink like a fish and got his baby girl addicted to Twirin too. Driven her mother to an early grave and would have driven the daughter too, had he not died of that shit himself. He offered her Twirin since she was a child? Uh-huh. She's not much of a talker. The dead offer her company more often than the living. She used to look after the grave since she was a child, and that obviously messed with her little head. She's a guardian spirit of the local cemetery, just like the Mother Superior is the guardian spirit of the termitary. Who is the Mother Superior? The daughter of the commandment. She is like an ant queen of the whole Dos house. Rumor has it the monsters tend to her varied need. Spoon feeding the girl. I'd like to have a look. Well, I never. Yeah. I would look through all of his dialogues, but these videos are drawn out enough. And it's oftentimes things that you can observe on your own anyways. I only really look into details which are more obscured and interesting. We don't talk to Grace all that often, so might as well get a better read on her. While someone like Victor, we're talking to all the time. We can weasel out our knowledge on him. Anyways. It's funny, the Sobryovs sit right on the edge of the plague. However, this district is... That's a detail I'd be better off telling about tomorrow, but, essentially, because of how districts work, the Sobryovs are not in danger right now. However, as you can tell, Peter Stomatin and Sticky are within the hotspot. Poor them. We'll meet Peter one of these days, but for now he's not relevant. Oh, I accidentally went into Katarina's. She also isn't relevant quite yet.
I've got a firm hand.
Just checking if I'm recording. Good. I need to do work with dead bodies. I was told this work demands your sanction. Is that true? I regret to say that no one can help you here. Local superstitions prohibit any violation of a body's integrity. Add a cult of the dead on top. If they see you dissecting a corpse, they might tear you to pieces. It has already happened once. It's essential for my work. I understand, but there's nothing I can do. Let us pretend this conversation never happened. You might want to turn to your new acquaintances. As far as I can judge, they are ready to do anything you ask. I'd rather turn to someone educated. The difficulty could be resolved by some rather sinister people. I am talking about butchers. Butchers, rather obviously, have no qualms about cutting bodies. Tradition gives them hereditary rights to perform the sacred act. I've had the pleasure of meeting one of them, and he was a fugitive criminal. Of course, Logimsky had him locked up after another one of their strikes. However, it is said that on the eve of a blockade, a group of butchers did not make it back to the termitary in time. Someone is hiding them. There is a house here on Earth whose dwellers know who it is. Take a chance. Thank you. Excellent advice, and it's Aspity. Of course it's Aspity. Alright, let's go see what she wants. Also, it's 15... Yeah, it's 15 o'clock, which means the day's gonna end soon. I need to get this main quest done. Soon. I didn't realize how much time had slipped by. Oh yeah, just to let you know, the Bone Steak Lot is considered a part of the Tanner's district, so it's also infected. That is all about that. I love how much this guy just looks like Max Payne. Max Payne, the severely dehydrated drunk. Or whatever you'd call a person high on Twirin. I think that's a dead end, so I'm gonna loop around into the step.
Is the disease really contagious?
Please touch
Yes,
me.
it is, undoubtedly.
Please touch me. Do I have a fever? You were concealing runaway butchers in this very house, says Biddy. Well, crucify me. What's this about? Running more errands for old Glimskys? No, this time I've come on my own accord. I need your help. Well, I gotta hear that. Why on earth would the wise serpent seek anyone's help? I need the tissue of a sand plague victim. You can only find dead victims in the infected houses. Since you appear to be alive, you have never entered a single one of them, which is wrong. I've entered about 4 now. You will have 5 to 10 minutes if you do. Then the infection strikes with the expected results. Perhaps you could find a single runaway that would agree to help? What would he want in return? Perhaps I could find a lot of runaways that would agree to help if only I asked them to. And the same me will ask you for a favor then. Will you do me one? It depends on what you're willing to ask. You're influential with old Gimsky. Use that influence. Tell him to stop persecuting the runaways. It's no longer a revenge situation, but he's still all too eager. Takes the guy quite some time to calm down, huh? Anyway, if he swears to leave alone the butchers that are now inside the termitory, I'll talk 3 runaways into risking their lives. It's not like they have anything else to lose anyways. I will try. Spirit is willing to sacrifice 3 butchers provided that Olgimsky grants pardon to the rest of them. Sounds good to me. I hopefully save more step lives and I get my dead tissues. Fortunately, I'm also condemning a couple of butchers to die of sand pest, which clearly isn't too pleasant. In fact, we've been attacked a lot by the... Now I'm thinking about it, we've been attacked a lot by these kinmen. We just killed 2 butchers today. We had to exile 1 into the steppes. A worm attacked us while we were going to see Vlad the Younger on day 1. And now we're risking 3 butchers to go die of plague. We're not very nice to these men, are we? I'm trying my best, but sometimes it's not easy to be a good person. Or they just so happen to magically align themselves where they're always in my way. Well, there's more important matters to get to. To be fair though, those butchers did attack me and they did have a suspicious corpse. I don't think anybody wants that. Also, yeah, we got our main quest. I guess it's getting the flesh. Which makes sense with the beginning dialogue when the 8th hour hit, where it says that we're looking for necrosis, and if you want to find gangrene, we will need to get a sample of the flesh. Epidemic, written on your recommendation, sent for approval. The address to the town people. Attention all citizens. Following the outbreak of a lethal disease commonly known as sand plague, sand pest, and sand dirt, the town authorities hereby declare a state of emergency. The disease is extremely contagious. There's still ongoing research as to how the disease is transmitted, but cases of contact and droplet infection have been confirmed. There are currently no vaccine solutions in town, and none are to be expected before the regular train arrives. Please be extra careful. The townspeople are forbidden to leave their homes unless under special instructions. Remember, the possibility of infection is much lower than for those who stay indoors. Citizens are advised to sterilize their household wares, boil their clothing, and exterminate as many vermin as possible. Do not panic. Medics, couriers, and executors will take care of mail delivery, as well as the distribution of drinking water, provisions, and medicine. Requests should be written down and slid under the door for couriers to collect. This address was composed on the instructions of Bachelor Dankovsky and ratified by the State of Emergency Town Governor Alexander Saburov. It is compulsory to follow every advice herein. Lovely. Hopefully people actually heed our words and we stop seeing little girls wander into the plague districts.
Someone will have to be punished for this sin.
Sinners, yes. It was one nasty day, wouldn't you agree? I'd like to offer you a bargain. It has to do with your fugitives. Oh, come now. To my mind, there's nothing to discuss here. However, a good bargain always catches my attention. So... I want you to stop pursuing them. What do you want in return? What's in it for you? Damn, do I give him too much info or do I be vague? Well, he's talking business, so... I need the right that this caste seems to possess. They will dissect bodies for me. I see. Yes, this is a respectable motivation. A single butcher will suffice for this. No, he won't. It's a dangerous and complicated task that will require many hands. Oh, come now. Any cutthroat can help you then. Try to make a deal with Bad Grief's bandits. That's the loss no one is ever going to grieve about. And they're definitely knife-happy. The rights of the kin and our own traditions mean nothing for them. I have no desire to make deals with that type. There's nothing else I can help you with. Well, do you have a counteroffer which would suit us both? Let me see. I know what I'm going to ask as a payment for my butchers. It's the unique resource you own. The one I'll never get my hands on. And what is that? Your influence with the Canes. Fucking hell. I'll cease to pursue the butchers if George ceases to pursue young Barak. Oh, I'm for that. He isn't guilty. He has an airtight alibi against all charges. I am willing to confirm. Let them leave him alone. Agreed? Why do you care for Isidore's son so much? We have a common goal. I see. And you're saying he's completely innocent, right? Indeed, indeed. And I'd rather have you convinced Reuben that young Barak has nothing to do with it. Isidore's tragic death. The thick-headed Reuben is the last one who'll need convincing anyways. The boy may be labeled a patricide, as if he hasn't had enough. You see Reuben from time to time, I know that. I'll pass your words to Reuben. I haven't finished yet. Apart from that, I wish they stopped torturing me about the termitary. I'm tired of repeating that it's clean. That is why it was closed in the first place. Now here's a hard one. We can't confirm that the place is clean. We haven't seen it for ourselves. Can we get what we need without sacrificing the ability to look into the termitary? I mean, we can't right now, but still. Well, where does that leave us? I cannot change the mind of this man. Let them sort their own business. I'd better have someone else take care of Reuben's affairs. And that is not a result I'm going to sit with. Damn. Yeah, I was wondering if that was going to end the quest or not, but if it didn't end the quest, I wouldn't have reloaded, but yeah. Since there's no alternative, I will comply, and I'm taking all the way back here. I'll cut this out in post. Alright. You know what? You've just suggested an excellent idea to me. How about this? You stop the persecution, and I'll kindly spare the Canes my opinion on what's inside the termitary. For goodness sake, if you put it like this. Yes, certainly. Certainly. I was going to as well. It's no matter now. Now that the Skinner's is infected, just like the crude sprawl before it, you have my word as a merchant. The thing is, I know you as a man of honor. Damn it. I'm glad we have an agreement, Boos Vlad. The word of a merchant provides a reliable assurance. There we go. Alright, let's return back to Aspity. It's amazing though. I've noticed that while I'm trying to help these people, the Canes and the Olgimskis are... The requests they ask of me help nobody but themselves. They're scared of one another's power, it seems, and to let me continue my investigations into the plague, they're saying that, essentially saying to me that first I have to sort out their own petty squabbles before I can return to the people. I can't say I honestly like either of the families. On a purely, you know, character basis. I like the characters, but I don't like their actions here. It feels like I'm being taken for a fool. It's, again, discouraging. But I have no choice. If I don't comply to their greedy demands, then, well, who knows how much worse everything could be.
It's better not to ask. Silence is golden.
Big Vlad agrees, or Vlad. He swore that from this point on, not a single runaway in the town would be killed on his orders. Proof? My word and Vlad's word too, of course. Right now he's in no position to break his promise. He is also persecuted. Fine then. I'll send 3 butchers to the infected Skinners. They'll be waiting for you there. If they manage to find a dead body, cut it, and survive to see you, that is. Follow them in an hour. They may die before you reach them, so waste no time. It would make sense for me to go straight away then, wouldn't it? Only the Shabnak cut the dead open. Does it even matter whose hands hold the knife? What matters is who's given out the order. Or do you think people won't realize who's violating the dead if you simply keep quiet and stand to the side? Sounds convincing. I strongly advise you to conduct reconnaissance. Jesus, that was a bad. Before you go to the infected district, prepare for the field trip well. Rumor has it the place leaves you less chances than a mincing machine would. The patrolman guarding the infected house has already consumed half the confiscated drugs. Thank you, Aspity. However, I already know how to traverse infected areas, so let us try. Skinner's district is contaminated. I hope that one of the 3 butchers has... There is no time to procrastinate. So, I guess we're just gonna have to blindly wander around an infected district and just hope to absolute God we don't get infected again. Because I'm not gonna do any cheesy save scumming. If I get infected, that's that. I have to deal with the pain. And getting infected on day 3 is miserable. And honestly, the infection is one of the mechanics in this game that I have no clue how to break. I'm good at cheesing the shit out of games, but the infection is impenetrable to even me. My only suggestion, or my only tip is God help you. That also means that we need to be proactive and on the move. And avoid the fucking plague clouds that chase you. Yeah. No lie, I am very much on edge. Stuff is no joke. I hear some crying over there. Nothing we can do to help them, though. Oh, a butcher. Hey, man. That villain to chop up a lad like that? He must know his trade well, dressing carcasses and the like. Look over there. They're carrying the body with all the cuttings. Where to? The cemetery. Where else? To prepare for burial. Why'd you ask, sir? Professional curiosity. Oh, I used my little plague detector so much that it worn out. I've actually never used it as much here because I had been on my first playthrough. I just kind of save scummed a bit because I was a bitch. I'm not gonna do that now. I have enough respect for the art to not do so. But yeah, I wasn't using the little plague thing all that much because when you're quick saving constantly, yeah. But those things wear out quick, and they aren't terribly useful, honestly. It does give you some range before you accidentally walk into one of the stationary clouds, though. That's handy. What it does not stop you from doing, however, is getting rammed into by those flying plague clouds. They just spawn occasionally in infected districts, and unlike the stationary ones, they spawn in things. So you could be minding your business and a plague cloud just materializes out of fucking nothing. They can also chase you out of the district, which is kind of funny. So you might be crossing a bridge to an infected area, and then suddenly there's 2 clouds of skulls rushing towards the bridge, and you just kind of have to wean your way out of there. Anyways, let's head to the cemetery. Cemetery looks really cool with this weather. It's amazing how simple shading and colors make even old, kind of crappy looking games it makes them stand out. Oh, fucking lovely. Anything I can help you with, good sir? Was this body brought from an infected district? Yes, we're preparing it for the burial. What's in it for you? I need it for my work, actually. Ain't that right? Well, doctor's work is vital work, alright? It's not like you're body snatching for fun, right? You're working in the interests of the public. Spot on! Unlike the Canes. 10,000 money and it's yours. Oh, fucking hell. Deal. So I can just take it? Yep. Corpse blood. Thanks. I have 90 step shekels on me now. I might struggle to not die of starvation tonight. But that's the suffering of Pathologic. You just got swindled out of 10,000 to get the blood that you need to help everybody. Just after the officer was buttering you up with like, this is very vital for you. We know you're acting in the interest of the public. Can I have $10,000? Of course, the currency probably isn't as strong as $1, but you get what I mean. Unless it genuinely is equivalent or better than $1, then fucking hell, that guy just got his life savings there. Anyways, I'm gonna head down to see Ruben. Seems like a logical step. No wait, what am I talking about? Of course the money is worth little. We just saw the prices raised 10 times yesterday. The money goes from being worth piss to being worth like a leaf. Or a blood sample. In this town, there is great abundance of piss and leaves. I don't like that it's been storming the whole day because the rain sounds are kind of annoying and wash the music out. And this is my favorite track in the game. The fucking Punjabi singing. That's how it's pronounced. Punjabi? Punjabi? I don't know. I'm an ignorant American. What can I say?
Perfect valor is to do without witness what one would do before all the world.
Finally, the operation's been a success, I hope? That depends on the result. The microscope is at your service, colleague. May you be the first one to make the discovery. Much obliged. Well, I don't know what I'm looking at. What do you think?
What is this disease?
So, what did you see there? Everything's dead. The dead tissues would not allow the microbial culture to survive. We might have tried to force the bacteria to reproduce. The problem is, there is no bacteria left. The culture has perished. That is bad. Quite the opposite, colleague. This is outstanding. What we've just discovered allows us to suggest that the sand plague does not linger in dead bodies. As soon as it kills an infected person, it leaves. It needs warm blood, rich in oxygen, to survive. How do you think the bacterium kills, Bachelor? It causes a massive contamination of the blood. In so doing, it overloads the cardiac muscle. In all likelihood, the infected suffer a stroke. That is something we didn't know before. So, in order to acquire the potent living microbial culture, we'll have to get our hands on a still beating heart. This is borderline absurd. We can start to research your vaccine, though. Don't you have that unique source of yours? I do. In any case, our work must no longer be delayed. After a new hope that today has brought. What does that mean? Firstly, it suggests that something as simple as house walls might provide a certain level of protection. Secondly, that the killer's life cycle is very short. Therefore, there is a natural restriction on how fast the disease can spread. As soon as the infection kills whoever carries it, it dies. This means the disease can be fought. Yes, there is hope. Although the enemy is invisible and ubiquitous, it is far from invulnerable. We have found at least one weakness. So, if everything goes to plan, the Tanner's district burns out, and the infection gets slowed. Let us have faith in the quarantine, I suppose. So, we got some good news out of this hellish situation. Let's hope the good news continues. However, I was learning that there was another shop we can look into.
A part off sent to the well is broken at last.
Bad grief. Welcome, welcome, dear guest. Give the man something to drink, let him grab a bite, sit him down comfortably. Show our big city guests some respect. Don't let him out until I say otherwise. Where am I? Ain't it obvious? The Brotherhood of Thieves, that's where you are. We got two options now. You do. Dine in hell with us, or run like hell from us. Let me go in peace. I am a doctor. Since we've just met, Doc, you can go in peace. For the first and the last time. But next time, your exit will cost extra. Next time, it will be you begging for me to come.
They say 'tis neither pox nor cholera. Too soon to measure for a coffin, then. The business will flourish.
Ooh la la, if it isn't my favorite man. Business or pleasure? Business. Let's have a look under your counter. Don't you fret, that's for personal use. So, already selling a rifle, which costs as much as a single vial of blood did for us. Lovely. Duranger, some clothing, plenty of ammunition, lockpicks, and even Twirin. So yeah, this is where you're gonna get your, illegal stuff. Or at least it's a good supplier. Fortunately, his prices are a little bit on the inflated side, and he does not give you much back for your sellings. However, he's still a shopkeeper, and that is worth a lot. Thank you, Bad Grief. I will head out. So yeah, if I ever need extra ammunition and I have money on me, I will absolutely be checking him out for pistol ammo at the absolute least. I could also pick up some, well, highly priced up but consistent clothing. Due to how pools of clothes are sold in shops, you might not find what you want. Usually he always has the boots around on him, so that's something. So, what else needs to be done today? The tissues extracted from the corpse did not contain the microbe. It perished together with the host. I have come to the conclusion that it may be possible to curb any spreading of the disease. Full isolation will be essential. Mere walls, perhaps, may offer some kind of protection. Glass walls, in particular. So we gotta turn in the body quest to George, perhaps. And I think that might be everything for today. Timely done, too. Although, Bachelor says that perhaps... Okay, the Bachelor is claiming that walls could protect you from the plague, but if you remember the plagued houses, they're coated in mold and infection. It looks like a twister stormed through them, flinging around fucking everything. You've seen the houses before they're infected, and you've seen the houses afterwards. Even cabinets and chairs and beds are tossed around. I want to believe that a wall will stop the plague, but I kind of see it that once the plague is in an area, the plague bleeds through the walls with its mold, and suddenly the area becomes a hotspot. Although, on the contrary, the shops in infected areas do not get infected, even though the walls of their shops are coated in mold on the outside, the insides stay pristine. And I guess that's because the shopkeeper never leaves. So I guess there's an argument that it's plausible. Or perhaps shopkeepers are just kind of a contrivance. For the day, I'm not going to go grab a plague map from Vlad the Younger, because we already know the one hotspot for the day. And hopefully the only hotspot we'll get. But given there's 9 more days to this game, I kinda doubt that. Yeah. First thing tomorrow morning, I'll grab another plague map just to see what's happening. Those dogs sound awfully nearby. A lot of the soundscape in this game is strange. I mean, I was talking about the weird telepathic morale babies earlier, but even the dogs sound close by when clearly there aren't any. That's a strange effect. The singing in the knots is practically surround sound. So it's like just things are speaking to you. But they're also kind of omnipresent. And there's the strange sounds like here. This is kind of like the rich residential district, but the soundtrack is very clearly... It's foreboding, when there's not much here to be upset about. Besides the giant polyhedric structure, I kind of admit that the song goes well to seeing this thing. Nonetheless, let us return.
In growing old, we become more foolish and more wise.
I will richly reward a friend that finds Simon's body for me, and I will squeeze the last drop of blood from the mongrel who'll stew... Was I just trying to become, like, Scottish there? The mongrel who stole it. I'm sorry, my brain is melting. I have a favor to ask of you, Judge. I am indebted to you, dear doctor. Speak. I'll be happy to grant any request that is within my power to fulfill. It has to do with Isidore Barak's son. Yes, I know the man, if only by what the others have to say about him. Regrettably, I've come yet to meet him personally. He was one of the main suspects in Simon's murder. He also hasn't cleared himself, not to my judgment anyway, of the charge of murdering his own father. Now, he is the main suspect in the theft of my brother's body. Hope you're not going to solicit forgiveness on his behalf. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. Ahem. This is one of the few requests that I am not prepared to meet. That is to say, I wouldn't be if anyone other than you were asking. But I believe without a shadow of doubt that you're acting in good faith and with most noble intentions. Let's not bring up blood. Young Brock deserves to have a break. That's what I need of him now anyway. Very well, Doctor. I will do what you ask of me. But having done that, I urge you to tell me who stole my brother's body as soon as you learn their identity. I promise I will not punish Brock, only unless it turns out that he was the thief. You have my word.
In growing old, we become more foolish and more wise.
I found the body snatchers. They were runaway butchers. Did you find the body? A body dissected and disfigured. However, I find it hard to believe that it once belonged to your brother. I'll show you the building where I found it. I will send my people there at once. You have my gratitude. Just don't bring the body directly to the crucible, and don't forget to quarantine your people before they return to their everyday duties. And he gives us 4,000 step rubles. So that's nice. We can eat tonight. Which, before I end off the day, I have to go buy some food, because we'll starve in the night. And given how low our HP is anyways, we really need to not starve. Besides that, I think day 3 is completed. Although, I'm starting to become a bit distrustful of the Kanes. Or at least Victor Kane. And Maria, just because I'm not entirely sure about the whole mistress deal. But, yeah. Being pulled around when I just want to save people, it's not a good feeling. Fortunately, they're still giving me what they promise. I haven't yet been betrayed, just a bit manipulated. Could be worse, I suppose. Where's a good butcher's house? Oh yeah, I'll stop by up by the Chine or the... I think the place with the town hall is called the Backbone. Not sure. I'm still getting used to the map. Also have one of the little girls. I'll check if she has a powder on her. Nope. Since the infection is out, I'll tell you this. The very tiny little girls often hold more medication than anyone else, including the very rare powders. The teenager boys also tend to have medicine on them, although I think they occasionally have, well, no, I think they also only carry around medication. I'll update you on that. The girls with the pigtails carry around both ammunition and, yeah, they carry around ammunition and painkillers. The top boys always carry around ammunition. I think that's about all of them. So yeah, I'm going to blow my money on food now. this seems good for the day. And I will seek bedding with Lara. And these two seem to be complete. I don't need much more revolver ammunition. Not until tomorrow. You know what? I'll take some Meridorm. Just for later. I did receive a letter earlier. Let's check that, actually. I almost forgot. Oh. The annotation for patrolmen, couriers, executors, and sanity personnel. Oh, sanitary, not sanity. Sorry. In order to prevent panic, this annotation is classified and its content should be under no circumstance disclosed to the civilian population. The disease is incurable. There is no vaccine, neither here nor in the capital. However, there are a few positive facts. The probability of contracting the disease is significantly lower for someone who has taken immune system stimulants. As of now, we believe that A pills and B pills, yellow-colored and blue-colored pills respectively, provide the best protective effect. Excessive doses of these medicaments may be detrimental to one's health. Additional protection is afforded by synthetic clothing. Woolen garments are strictly off-limits. Parasites. The clothing should be changed as often as possible. Important. The disease develops sporadically. At its initial stage, it does not progress in any significant way, especially if antibiotics are taken. However, if contact with the infection reoccurs, the development of the disease may become extremely rapid. The disease is not transmitted by means of droplet infection. As of now, we've yet to find out how it is contracted. Preliminary tests suggest that the disease is not contagious at early stages. Therefore, there is no need to isolate the sick person immediately after the appearance of the symptoms. The executors. In consideration of your partial line of work, we believe that you will not be able to avoid infection. If you have contracted the disease, do not give in to despair. It would have happened sooner or later anyway. Try your best to conserve the infection at its initial stage. Take antibiotic medicine. Consider using the schmouters. They are extremely dangerous, but they help curb the infection. Well, from my own experiences in the infected district, I'd say it's airborne, given that it was literally being flung into my face a couple of times, and appears in pockets. Oh, this girl has schmouters. Yes, absolutely. I'm taking that. Oh, speaking of powders, I forgot there is another quest to be done today. We don't have much time to complete it, but we've got to haul ass back to, the cemetery and talk to Grace. So, I'll see you there. Anyways, after ripping through the entirety of the town to reach the graveyard again, I have made it. So, we're going to pry a box of powders out of a very tall child's hands.
Is the disease really this contagious?
Don't you dare touch the dead. Leave now. Have you gone mental? What would I want with your dead? They said a scary doctor will be making the rounds today, turning the dead inside out, even though he has no right to. It sounded like you. Grace, that's the only way to fight the disease. So go fight it. Distribute those drops, pills or powders. They work, I know that for sure. I have a powder myself. It made me better when I got sick 5 years ago. I don't know why I choked up saying that. Wait, please, tell me more about that. I was helping my father. He was burying those who had died from the disease, and I was sprinkling the graves with Twirin. I got sick. A girl named Murky brought me 3 powders. I ate one and got better. I gave another to my father and he survived too. And I still have a 3rd one. Give it to me, please. I'll check what's in it. And that's the 3rd powder of the day. Ugh. So, I should be a bit more transparent with my plan for them. I'll say this. They aren't for me. There is a mechanic later on in the game where they will be invaluable for other people. For now, though, I have to keep them stockpiled. I only used that one because it was a 50% infection, and I'm fairly sure you could only complete the task by using the powders. You know, kind of saying, yep, this thing works. Anyways, I am going to, instead of staying at Lara's, I'm going to head back to Ava's to store the other 2 powders and essentially set up shop for the day. Once that happens, we'll see the day's play, and that will be all. Also, there's another one of those weird walls you can zoop up. Lovely. Gonna take the scenic route around the step to get back to Ava's because I'm a bit tired of walking through the knots. Might as well see some sights we haven't seen before. Before it all goes to shit, of course. This is another section of the warehouses. There is another bounded character for one of the other playable characters here, but I don't think they wind up relevant for the Bachelor, so we probably won't meet him. But if I forget about something and he's involved in some side quest, then of course I'll go see them. Same with a girl that lives out here. It's actually Murky, the one that both Sticky and Grace were talking about. I don't remember her ever being someone you need to talk to in the playthrough. However, when I play the game as the other character, we'll be talking to some, and then somebody like Maria we'll never talk to again. That's how it goes. Some people are more important to some characters, to the point where you might not even meet someone as a character. You can if you go out of your way to do so, however. I'm fairly sure all of the characters that the Bachelor doesn't have a reason to meet has some introductory text for him. At least for the ones within reason. I get stuck on. Yeah, whatever. Just, trudging through the marshes of the steppe. The Bachelor's coast must be absolutely filthy at this point. Also, I've strayed way off the beaten path. I need to dip back up. There is a little cot out here, but there's nobody outside of it. And a tower leers into view. Another one of those just mysterious structures that just kind of exist here. There's a tower. And a bonfire. They're just there. And unlike the Polyhedron and the Termitary Abattoir, I don't think those are actually explained. Just there. Being spooky. I'll fill up my water bottles. I do not have any. I am a fool and an absolute buffoon. Does Ava have anything to say to me today?
Can you feel how rapid my heartbeat is?
I want to be of help. I want to be by your side. Is there anything I can do for you? Right now, my only desire is to light up candles, wash the soot of the day off, wrap myself in a bedsheet and get drunk until my mind goes blank. Will you get us a bottle of Twirin? I'll do if I find one. I sold it. Do you want us to get drunk together? Of course. If Twirin actually is 70% strong, it's an efficient preventative remedy. Drink it, Ava. Now let us drop off our powders and get stuck on the door. Yeah, the powders are still there, and I have 2 more to add to the collection. Anyways, before I sleep, painkillers. You take them, you become tired. You sleep, and you recover more. So you can see my exhaustion is going down fast, and my health is also regenning. It's only to half, but it's something.
The day is over. Your timely efforts allowed your supporters to remain unharmed. A new mime performance is being rehearsed at the theater.
And before the next day begins, first off, yeah, I will dip down to see the plague map. Because well, I'll explain it when it happens. I have to say, my good man. Oh, you have bandages for me. Aren't you so nice? What are you reeking of, my good man? Is this some kind of sap? Aye, a Twirin sap it is, and let me tell you, the Twire gathered at the flabby mud last year had extraordinary properties. Truly extraordinary. Tell me about the flank dish. No. Really? What were they? Here's what I think. A herb is like a person. Each blade has its own character. The bouquet has to be collected carefully, like a family. Bloom to bloom, in the proportion. Mind the proportion, but water is also important. You can't just take any water. Yes, tell me about the water, my good man. What kind of water do you have here? We all live off of steppe juices. Twire, the herb, draws its juices from the steppe. Sun draws its juices from Twire, so does a bull. Who gives and takes away, so does a man, a sinful worm who sucks the earth out for his needs. The juices of a body are a gift, and the key to understanding everything. Where do you draw water from? The steppe grants us water. Each spring is a different kind. One of them is filling, another's joyful, and the third one may be evil. Evil? How? 'Tis no good drinking the Sugag water. Sugag. Professor, whenever anyone offers you a glass of water, take the lovely dove, shrift front, and inquire as to whether the water's been taken from Sugag. And if they confess that it is, stuff the water down their throat, for 'tis a sin to blight an honest man with it. Evil comes from that water, not the pest, just evil. What kind of evil? Bad fortune. Here's what kind. Whoever drinks that water dies not their own death. That's a reliable omen, I'm telling you. Beware of that water, Doctor. You never know. What if you drink it, and next thing you know, your demise is waiting just around the corner? Superstition, nothing more. Curious how it's the water beggar that is filling us in on the strange customs of this world and nobody else. You can also ask him inappropriately about just any location. And last time we asked about a location, he asked about Simon. Fascinating men those drunkards are. Now let's see, where has the plague gone to today?
Clara has
Hopefully
lured
it's
Ripper
dead.
into an ambush.
They say you saw some significant success yesterday, so random antibiotics will really be able to help against the sand fever? Fourth name for the plague, I see. How's the distribution of drugs going? Why is there still no medicine in the town? The drugs we confiscated 2 days ago turned out to be outdated. Moreover, many are expired and now harmful. Many are probably useless. We will check every drug today. Those that actually prove efficient will be put into distribution immediately. And how will the test be bleh. I found some people with a death wish. Those are desperate people on the verge of a nervous breakdown. So I have tasked several young ladies whom you probably know with supervising the tests. They are Ava Jan, Yulia, Anna Angel, and Lyra Raval. They'll report the results tonight. Death wish? What do their tendencies have to do with this? It makes them likely to volunteer, obviously. The matter is urgent. Undoubtedly, you can see that. Testing the immunity drugs would require exposing oneself to the risk of infection, and of course, you have to be infected to test the antibiotics. Death Seeker is a self-designation. They have chosen it because the sand pest spells certain death. Are you out of your mind? Not at all. They know what they're getting into. It's horrible, yes, but it's also happened at their own request. No one's forcing their hand. We're offering sizable compensation to the testers' families. It's a fortune for a poor worker. Why don't you want to supervise the whole thing yourself? The young ladies offered their help voluntarily, with a task that I believe to be the least dangerous. I doubt they'd prefer to test the drugs themselves instead of sending death seekers into infected districts. And if they will? What was us then? Maybe there's still time to change their minds, but Bachelor, if they don't conduct their tests on themselves, we can't at least be certain of their failure or success. How so? Our kind volunteers are prone to foul play. I've heard reports of the kind of talks happening between them. Honestly, if they vanish, I'll be convinced they just made off with the pills. You're not an easy man to read, Master Vlad. Don't worry, I'll handle it all myself. Yeah, so that's a quest for the day. I have to take the drugs away from them because I'm not gonna let important people die. I need the infected districts map. Price remains the same. And it is spreading. Currently the plague is in the Chine, and I don't know what this area is called, but essentially Yulia's in danger, and nobody lives up here, I think. Good to know. It's staying in the Earth District, however. Wait, what am I saying? The Chine's infected, that's the knots. Things are bad. Things are very bad. But that is for next time. For now, let us see the play, and we will say our goodbyes. Of course, the episode has to end off on rain when the entirety of day 3 was set in the rain.
So?
It stays away from dead bodies, disappearing from corpses without a trace. It's been established that you can outweight it if you're careful and discreet. The glass will keep the best, as it's supposed to.
What does it mean?
It means we have a fighting chance. The infectious agent only sticks to living matter and is repelled by dead surfaces. Those who remain indoors are more likely to survive. Scurrying and making a fuss means death. All in all, we can fight.
You self-serving jerk. You've got your own agenda, haven't you? You're always up for a fight. You just need an adversary. What about the people?
Hush. Don't you get in his way. He seems to have a plan.
It's all wrong. It's no good at all.
Well, that is it for the day. Thank you for joining me this time around, and to follow the trend of yesterday, made a comment. I'm having a lot of fun making these, honestly. It's been something to look forward to whenever I am bored and alone late at night, tired. And honestly, this is genuinely one of my favorite games. So, it's just amazing to be looking forward to playing this game, to record it each and every day. Well, I don't record each day. Sometimes the timing doesn't work or I'm too tired to do it, but yeah, I'm loving this. Thank you for joining me, and see you on day 4.